Are you wanting to have more courage in your life? Well, today I'm going to talk about how you can find this within yourself. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra special point for you then as well. Now, I've been hard on myself in the past when I've been looking at things like courage. It's like, how do I become more courageous? I can never be as courageous as that person who walks in front of crowds and they're just so calm, so cool, or that person who just seems to socialize with everyone. That's been me in the past, someone who just was there and was like, I've got no courage, I can't do it. Now I'm in a completely different place. And the thing was, I always thought courage was people just don't have any fear, but that's completely wrong. Courage is having fear, but doing it anyway. And then obviously, if you do a thing many times that you're once scared of, you won't be scared of. Well, most things, certain things anyway. And yeah, I used to think I didn't have much courage at all. And then I started realizing, and I'm not really reflecting that actually I was being courageous. Things like asking questions when I was scared to, put my hand up. Things like talking in front of a few people was scary to me. Many more things. And I think a lot of us think courage has to be this massive, big thing. Like we go skydiving, we go swimming with, I don't know, sharks or whatever, if that's even a sport. It has to be something really, I think that's a thing. It has to be something that's really, really like dramatic. But it doesn't. It can be anything that you're a little bit fearful of and you do it anyway. Even if that's just going up and approaching someone in a workplace that you're a little bit nervous about talking to, or being honest with someone when it's a little bit, you're a little bit fearful about what they're going to say. Courage can be the smallest things, even if in the grand scheme of things, you think this is stupid to be scared of. If you're a little bit fearful of something and then you do it, then give yourself praise. You're being courageous. And the more we can recognize that, the more courage we can have within ourselves. Now, I want to ask you this. How's it helping you by labeling yourself as someone who's not got much courage, someone who's scared? Because as human beings, we tend to be consistent with and do more of what we believe about ourselves. So therefore, if you can recognize the courage within inside yourself now, you're going to use more of it. And when I started recognizing that I was doing these small little things, even recently, I've had to just call myself out for it. Yes, I've done some pretty dramatic things, like I've skydived and I've walked on fire and things like that. But I've also done things when I just had to tell someone the truth, even though I was scared of their reaction. It's someone, close to me. Or like pursue an area where I'm worried about getting hurt or things not going well. But I know I had to go down that path. And even if the fear of rejection's coming in or the fear of failure, still going down it is being courageous. And the more you can recognize that, the more courage you're going to use. And courage is a muscle we've all got inside of ourselves, I do believe. And it's something I used to hold myself back. So I don't hold myself back by thinking I didn't have any. So I don't want you to be the same. Okay, so let's go into just a few points on how you can start bringing some courage out from yourself, because I've kind of touched on a couple already, but I just want to give some quick steps really to make it a bit more systematized. I can't say that word. I think my brain is going a bit today. Anyway, the first thing is write down, just even for 5 minutes, my classic write down for 5 minute kind of thing, reflecting yourself. 5 minutes, just write down all the times you've been courageous, no matter how small. Maybe like things like getting in a car and learning to drive. That's courageous if you're terrified to do so. Things like walking, if you were self-conscious and you get nervous about walking into public places and you did it anyway, that's courageous. And the key thing I would say about courage is don't compare yourself to other people. If you like see someone who's just like really, really good socially, and I believe we could all be really good socially, it's just about how much you train yourself to be, right? Yeah, some people have had experiences in the past that kind of reinforce them that they've got more confidence in it, but I believe we all can train it. What I was going to say though is, if you see someone who's just like goes into social situations and places, they're just so calm and cool. Well, don't compare yourself to that. If you get a little bit socially anxious, that's absolutely fine. You know, the fact is you're doing something about it. So just give yourself credit for like walking into a place and just do what you can. So write down as many things and times you can think of as being courageous, no matter how small, on a list. Then what I want you to do, step 2, is to look at that list, smile, and pat yourself on the back. Don't forget to do that. So key. Pat yourself on the back and say, I have been courageous there, and there. And then just keep looking, keep feeling those things and recognize the courage you've got. My third point I want to add in is just keep recognizing it as you're doing it, right? So like if you do something where you're a little bit nervous about, or you got to use a tiny bit of courage. And again, when I say courage, it's not having the absence of fear. It's doing something when you've got even the tiniest bit of fear. So keep recognizing you've got courage throughout the day as well. And then pat yourself on the back for that as you keep going through. Now, I've got a final point for you as well that I want to add. But just before we get onto that, I just want to appreciate you for being here. And if you want to hang out with me a little bit more inspiration, come and find me on Instagram. My handle is @johnny.pardo. Okay, my final point I really want to add in is write down your rules for courage. Okay, so often we have rules of life. I remember like listening to people like some of the people I've learned a lot from, people like Tony Robbins, Peter Sage. They talk about your rules and rules of life and lots of things like that, and they go deep into it. But think about this for yourself without like, and they go through like the whole rules of your life and how you're actually operating. I want you to think about your rules for courage though in this instance. Just write down on paper, what are the rules you currently got to be for courage that makes you courageous? And then maybe you're writing down some ridiculously high standard things like, oh, you do have to go skydiving regularly. Oh, you do have to like be able to interact calmly with everyone. And then write down actually what would be some better rules for courage. Because if you can start training your brain that actually, oh, it's overreacting, oh, you know, it's got these really tough rules, then you're going to train it to be a lot. You're going to teach it actually the rules are a bit extreme, so calm down. We only need to do these little things to experience courage. So that's what I got for you today. Again, if you want to come and hang out with me on Instagram, my handle is @johnny.pardo. I appreciate you for being here. You're improving other people's lives by being the best you. And remember, you're in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.